I've learned something over a lifetime of study, observation, and experience. Success, real success, doesn't shout. It doesn't walk into the room waving its arms, saying, "Hey, everybody, look at me." No, success walks in quietly. It carries itself with a certain calmness, a kind of humble confidence. I used to think the successful people I admired must have started loud, telling everyone what they were about to do. But the truth is, most of them were busy doing it long before anyone noticed. You plant a seed and then you let the soil and the season do their work. You water it, you tend it, and you protect it, but you don't dig it up every other day just to show your neighbors that you planted something. That's what many people do with their dreams. They announce them too early. They talk more than they work. And let me tell you, when you talk too much about what you're going to do, you create a false sense of accomplishment. You start feeling like you've already achieved something just because you said it out loud, but saying it doesn't make it so. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a plan. I'm saying let the plan stay private until it produces fruit. Because when you tell the world your dream before it's ready, you invite two dangerous guests: doubt from others and distraction from yourself. I remember when I first started in business, I was so excited. I told everybody, my family, my friends, the guy at the gas station, the lady at the grocery store. I'd say, "You just wait. I'm going to be rich." They smiled politely, but some of them thought I was foolish, others jealous. And you know what happened? Their opinions started to echo in my mind. And maybe I can't do it. Maybe it's too late. Maybe they're right. That's when I learned one of the great lessons of life. Guard your enthusiasm like a treasure. Not everyone deserves access to it. Because enthusiasm is energy, and energy must be directed wisely. You've got to protect your seed until it's strong enough to withstand the wind. You don't expose a newborn seedling to the storm. You shelter it until it can stand tall on its own, and that's how success grows. Quietly, patiently, under the soil of discipline and persistence. One of my mentors once told me, "Jim, work on your plan in silence and let your results make the noise." That stuck with me. He said, "If you need applause before you act, you'll never act enough to deserve it." I'll tell you something else. When you keep your goals quiet, you multiply your focus. Every ounce of energy that would have gone into explaining yourself goes into building yourself. And that's the kind of trade that pays dividends. See, too many people want recognition before results. They want the trophy before the training. But life doesn't work that way. You have to earn the applause by sweating when no one's watching. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a young man who told me, "Mr. Rohn, I'm going to be a millionaire by 30. He was 22. Ambitious, energetic, full of excitement. I said, "That's wonderful. What's your plan?" He started talking fast. Business ideas, contacts, social media, and investors. It sounded impressive, but then I asked, "What have you done this week?" He paused. "Well, I've been telling people about my plan." I smiled and said, "Young man, that's your problem. You're telling too many people and doing too little. Trade your talking time for working time, and you'll surprise yourself." 6 months later, I met him again. This time he looked different. Focused, quiet, confident. He said to Mr. Well, I stopped talking. I started building. That young man eventually made his first million just a few years late, but right on time for his growth. The Bible says there's a time to speak and a time to be silent. Silence isn't emptiness, it's incubation. It's where your dreams take root. Now let's talk about why people feel compelled to share their plans. Sometimes it's because we want validation. We want someone to say, "That's a great idea." But when we depend on external validation, we become emotionally broke. And emotional bankruptcy leads to financial bankruptcy. One of the best forms of wealth is inner confidence. The quiet knowing that you're doing the right thing, even if no one else sees it. You don't need to post your progress. Your progress will post itself when it's mature. Here's a Jim Rohn quote I like to remind myself of. "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." You see, silence gives you space to develop those skills, away from the noise of comparison. The road to financial freedom is paved with small, consistent, unseen acts. The early mornings, the late nights, the quiet hours of study and reflection. That's where wealth begins, not in the announcement, but in the application. If you truly want to be successful, here's a rule. Be so busy improving yourself that you have no time to announce your intentions. People will see the results soon enough. You know what's interesting? When I started achieving some success, I didn't have to tell anyone what I was doing anymore. They could see it. Success is its own testimony. You walk different. You talk different. You carry yourself with quiet certainty. So my advice is this. Let success surprise people. Let it walk into the room before you do. Let them wonder how you did. Then mystery keeps you grounded and keeps them inspired. Because here's the truth. When success is quiet, it's stable. When success is loud, it's fragile. You see, friends, when you learn to operate quietly, you start to build something deeper than applause. You build character. And character is what protects success when it finally comes. Because if your character is small and your success is loud, your success will crush you. But if your character is big and your success is quiet, your success will serve you. One evening, I was speaking at a little seminar in San Jose. Afterward, a young lady came up and said, "Mr. Rohn, I want to start a business, but everyone keeps asking me about it and I get nervous because I don't have much to show yet." I told her, "That's good. You're in the invisible season. Protect it. Build in the dark." She said, "But my friends keep posting pictures of their launches online. Shouldn't I do that too?" And I said, "Well, it depends. Do you want to look successful or be successful?" See, there's a difference between the image of progress and the substance of progress. The image costs energy. The substance creates energy. The image fades with the next scroll. The substance compounds quietly like interest in a good account. Financial freedom follows the same law. You don't tell the world you're saving, you just say. You don't announce your investment strategy, you just study and act. Because wealth, like a tree, doesn't grow from noise, it grows from nurture. Every dollar you keep in silence becomes a soldier for your future. Every distraction you avoid becomes a dividend. I tell my audiences that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and silence strengthens that bridge. Each quiet morning that you choose to read instead of brag, each private decision to learn instead of boast, that's another plank on your bridge. Now here's a little paradox of life. The more you grow, the less you need to prove. At first, you want everyone to know you're working on yourself. You tell them about your goals, your books, your new routines. But when you truly begin to change, you no longer talk about it. You simply live it. That's maturity. In business too, it's the quiet professionals who build empires. They listen more than they speak. They take notes when others talk. They don't interrupt because they're too busy collecting data, observing, preparing. They understand that information is more valuable than validation. One day I met an old rancher in Texas. He was wealthy, owned land, cattle, equipment, everything. But you'd never know it. He wore old boots, drove a dusty truck, and carried himself like a man with nothing to prove. We sat on his porch as the sun went down, and I said, "You've done very well. Why do you live so quietly?" He smiled and said, "Jim, if it's real, it doesn't need advertising." I wrote that down immediately because he was right. If it's real, it doesn't need advertising. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a time to share, to inspire, to teach, but sharing should come after results, not before them. If you teach too soon, you dilute your own lesson. You've got to let your experience ripen before you serve it. You want to know how to tell who's really on their way to success. It's not the one posting about it every hour. It's the one who disappears for a while only to come back different, stronger, wiser. You see, success loves silence because silence is where transformation hides. When I was young, I had a mentor named Earl Scofe. He used to tell me, "Jim, don't let your mouth overload your back." I didn't understand it at first. He said, "If you talk too big before you can back it up, you'll break yourself carrying the weight of your own words." That was a life changer for me. From that day, I started letting my actions do the introduction. Let me give you a practical assignment. For the next 90 days, stop explaining. Don't explain your goals. Don't justify your choices. Don't announce your habits. Just work. Read, study, plan, act. At the end of 90 days, you'll have something visible to show. Results that speak so loudly you won't have to.